Lágrimas Tardias, de 1949, um drama clássico, branco e preto, legendado, Too Late for Tears em inglês. Um drama excelente, vocês vão gostar. Por um lapso do destino, uma mala com $100 mil, na época uma fortuna, é encontrada por esse casal por causa da esposa bela, mas ambiciosa. Vão viver um drama que pode virar uma tragédia. O que uma ambição pode causar, vocês vão ver. Uma produção fotográfica excelente, legendas fácil de entender. Acompanha aí, gente, vamos lá, fica com nós aí. É uma produção excepcional, excelente.
Pai, tô chegando, eu vou assistir, vou ver se é bom, hein? Eu vou assistir. Tchau, gente!
Awfully quiet tonight, Janie.
I've been trying to think of just the right way to ask you to turn around and go back.
On this road? Oh, we can't do it, sweetie.
I mean it, Alan. I'd like you to turn around, please.
What's the matter, Jane?
I tried to tell you before we left home. I just don't like being patronized, that's all. I don't think I could take another evening of it.
Patronized? Oh, sweetheart, Ralph is one of the nicest guys.
You know it isn't Ralph. Diamond-studded wife, looking down her nose at me like a big ugly house up there looks down on Hollywood. Please, I'm just not going. Slow down, find a place to turn.
Oh, Jane, you're crazy. Alice likes you.
Please, Alan, I mean it. I'm just not going.
What are you trying to do, send us off the edge? All right, we'll turn around. We told them we'd be there, but we'll turn around. That guy almost hit us.
Alan, he threw something. It's in the back.
Feels as if there's paper in it.
Paper?
Yeah, feels like it.
Open it.
They threw it in?
Yes.
Maybe it fell in.
Alan, open it. Quick, Alan, get in. Alan, get in.
He's after us, Jane. The bag was intended for him.
Where have you been, Jane? Is there any news?
No. Why aren't you at work?
Work? With Alan just swallowed up someplace? Where have you been?
Walking, thinking, trying to figure this thing out.
Jane, I thought of something this morning. If Alan just went away, don't you...
What do you mean if he just went away? What else could have happened?
I don't know. Nothing seems to make any sense.
Does it ever?
I thought of a way we might be able to tell. Alan's gun. He loved that gun. It was the only thing he saved from his army days. If he'd known he was going away, I think he'd have taken it with him, don't you?
We can easily find out. What's the matter with you?
Nothing. I think I know who it is, Jane. It's a friend of Alan's. I ran into him in the hall. He said he'd be back.
Are you Mrs. Palmer? Lieutenant Breach, Homicide Division. May I come in? You don't seem to have expected me.
Should I have?
Well, didn't you report it? Oh, my apologies, Mrs. Palmer. I see what's wrong now. The missing persons detail is part of the Homicide Division. I've been assigned to the case you reported.
Oh, I'm afraid you frightened me for a minute, Lieutenant. I was afraid something had happened.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Lieutenant Breach, my sister-in-law, Miss Palmer. Won't you sit down?
I've been trying to get you by phone, Mrs. Palmer. I have some information for you you might prefer to discuss privately.
Miss Palmer's my husband's sister. Go ahead.
Is there anything you would like to add? Something you didn't put into your report?
No, not a thing.
Mrs. Palmer, there's nothing illegal about being missing. We only work on a missing person's case if it's a juvenile or if there's some evidence of foul play or a suicide or an accident. When we get evidence that it is something else, and it usually is, we don't touch it.
I see.
So you see, Mrs. Palmer, it isn't exactly playing ball with us to hold anything back.
Hold what back, Lieutenant?
The other woman, Mrs. Palmer.
What do you know about her?
Well, it's the only thing we've uncovered so far. A Bel Air resident, he's vice president of a furniture plant out in Vernon, was pulling out of his driveway last night when this car, your car, driven by a woman, almost crashed into him. A man, dressed like you described your husband, same size, everything, gets out of the car. Apparently, they'd had a quarrel. Well, that's about all our informant saw. All he did was spot the license number. There might have been foul play. I doubt it. I suspect they patched it up. Do you know anything about this woman, Mrs. Palmer?
Not very much, I'm afraid. I've only seen her once or twice. She's a little taller than I am. Hair a little darker. Brown eyes, I think. But I don't know her name or where she lives.
Jane, you never told me. Why?
Because I didn't think it meant... Hello? Yes. It's for you.
Oh, I told the Bureau I'd be here. Thank you. Hello? Yes? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, thanks. Goodbye. I'm afraid that wraps it up. If you really want some action on your husband, Mrs. Palmer, I'd suggest you bring in some private help. Your car was located 12 miles south of San Diego, just this side of the Mexican border. Your husband wasn't in some kind of trouble, was he, Mrs. Palmer?
No, or not that I know of. Are you sure it was our car?
Yes. I'll see that it's sent back. Good luck.
And thank you, Lieutenant.
Goodbye.
I know Alan wasn't seeing another woman, and so do you.
where Alan's concerned, my dear, you're blind. It's time you knew it.
Your description of this other woman, Jane, it sounded very much like you.
What do you mean by that? What are you trying to imply?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, hello again. We always seem to be colliding in hallways, don't we?
Yes, we seem to. Jane, this is the man I mentioned to you. He flew with Alan. Mr. Blake, my sister-in-law.
How do you do, Mrs. Palmer?
How do you do?
I'm sorry to hear about Al, but I'm sure he'll turn up soon.
Thank you. Will you excuse me, Jane, Mr. Blake?
Well, she seems to be a bit upset. Has there been some news about Alan?
No, but they were very close, you know.
Oh, I know.
Did you want to see Alan about anything special?
Oh, no. We were just very good friends.
I see. Would you like to come in?
All right.
Kathy didn't tell me much about you, Mr. Blake. Did you know Alan well?
Well, I thought I did. It'd be hard to believe Al took after some wild geese. He was always an advocate of the home and hearth.
I always thought so. Won't you sit down?
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, I was about to say I'm here on a vacation, and I was wondering if I might help in any way.
I think the police are doing all that can be done. What did Alan usually call you, Mr. Blake?
Don. When there were ladies present.
Which wasn't often, I hope. What squadron were you flying with?
The same as Alan's, Mrs. Palmer.
Wouldn't you rather call me Jane?
All right.
Would you like a drink?
Well, I didn't think it was that noticeable.
What?
The thirsty look. Come on, let me help. Well, let me watch.
Where were you stationed in England?
Don't you know?
Of course. I keep forgetting. Stonehurst or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Ipswich. I didn't know we had any operations at Stonehurst.
Well, all those places in England used to sound alike to me.
I seem to worry you, Mrs. Palmer. Why?
Why do you say that?
Oh, I don't know. I sense a third-degree quality in this conversation. Could I be wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. I'm just curious about you, Mr. Blake. No, you don't worry me. But it's possible you're beginning to intrigue me.
Oh, let's wait till we're sure Al isn't coming back, hmm?
You made quite a bit out of that remark of mine, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't think I made any more out of it than I found there.
I'm afraid you did. If I should hear from Alan, where can he get in touch with you?
I'm staying at the Villa Vista Hotel. Oh, by the way, on my way out, shall I take the guy in the plaid suit off your back?
What did you say?
Looks a little pale. I think I can handle him all right.
What are you talking about?
The guy in the plaid suit. He was lurking around the dark end of the hall, making like a tenant trying to find a key. I watched him for a while as I got off the elevator. Made him nervous.
He must be from the police.
Sure. That's right. They're looking for Al. They probably figured the best place to find him is where he lives. Thanks for the drink, Mrs. Palmer.
Hello, Mr. Jack Sharber, please. Mr. Sharber, this is Jane Palmer, Alan's wife. Yes, oh, fine. Mr. Sharber, you were at Ipswich with Alan, weren't you? Do you remember a Don Blake? No, Blake. You don't? Mr. Sharber, could you drop by here tonight? It would only have to be for a minute or so. Could you come by tomorrow, then? All right, fine. It's the Chateau Michel, apartment 514. Thank you, Mr. Sharber. Tomorrow night, then, 7 o'clock. Goodbye. You stupid fool. You were seen out there. For all I know, the man who saw you was a detective.
Oh, relax, Tiger.
There are other people on this floor, you know.
What do you want?
Find the ticket?
No.
Too bad. I don't like to think what'll happen inside you if you don't. I came up to tell you something, Tiger. If you get that dough and dust with it, it'll be very, very bad.
I don't intend to.
Fine. But let me tell you why it'll be very, very bad. You want to know about that, don't you?
Listen, Danny. We can't be fighting each other now. We've got to help each other.
Yeah? Why?
Kathy, my sister-in-law, she's getting suspicious. She's beginning to figure the whole thing out.
Oh, what's she got?
She heard me come in last night. I denied it, but I know she doesn't believe me. She knows Alan wouldn't have gone out to get liquor because there was plenty here. She knows Alan's gun was gone. I don't know how, but she does. She's going to trip us up, Danny. I know it.
Well, maybe it's time to clear out. Chalk it up to experience.
We can't. We've got to stay here until we find that ticket.
You mean stay here till she tells her story to the cops? Is that it?
She's not going to tell her story. You're going to help me again, Danny.
Help you do what?
You've got no other choice. We can't just wait and let her kill us. I didn't mean to kill Alan, but it's done. And now it's our lives against hers.
We kill her, huh? Do you really think you can get away with that?
Yes. Kathy was all wrapped up in Alan. She missed work today. She's what the papers will call despondent. She's going to take poison because of it. You're going to get it for me.
Sorry, Mrs. Palmer. I'd rather take my chances.
You don't think I want to do it? I couldn't kill Alan. I tried to convince myself I could kill him, but when the time came, I couldn't do it.
How did he die? Pneumonia?
It was an accident. He opened my purse and the gun fell out. I don't know what happened after that. I killed it. But I didn't know it then. I'm not going to die for it. We've got to do it, Danny. We've got no other choice. Get me something, Danny. You know how to get it. I'll do the rest. We can't put it off.
You are a tiger. You got me in so deep I can't get out. I'll get the stuff for you, but like you say, you gotta do the rest. Every bit of it. When I get back, make sure she's not around. I don't want to see her, not even for a second. And I don't want to talk about this or her again.
I'll get you some money. Oh, hello.
Hello.
How did you make out with Jane?
She's crazy about me. You know where they went last night? Before Alan disappeared?
Yes.
Do you happen to have any pictures around of Jane and Alan?
Why, yes, why?
Well, the police won't do anything until they're convinced something's wrong. We're going to find something to convince them.
How did you know that about the police? Did Jane...
Get into your coat, Miss Palmer, honey. We're going sleuthing.
Waiting for a boat, mister?
Well, not right now, but I would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Look, I don't know what makes them run, mister. I ain't no good with motors.
Well, maybe you're good at faces. Remember the last time you saw him?
Yeah, I've seen him. But I'll be darned if I remember when.
Maybe this will help.
Yeah. Last night. They was here last night. Hey, you a cop?
Do I look like one?
I never seen any you did.
I just happened to be a friend of his, and he disappeared last night. Do you remember anything about them, how they behaved? Or if they were quarreling or anything?
They acted like any corny people.
There you are, buddy. Thanks very much. Are you sure there isn't anything else you can tell us?
Well, they were pretty fast with $1, too. He gave me one to get one of the big boats, and when they came back, she get... Yeah, I just thought of something. She paid. He helped her out of the boat, real polite, like. And he goes upstairs, and she goes over there and pays. Some guy.
Well, they're married, you know.
Oh, that explains everything. Thanks.
You know, the man usually pays for things, even when he's married to the girl. Did Alan happen to be an exception to that rule?
He is rather absent-minded. You must have noticed that.
Oh, sure, that's right. Well, I think we'd better say goodnight here. I think it's better Jane doesn't see us together too much.
All right.
Well, I sort of made saying goodnight sound like quite a project, didn't I?
Yes, I thought so.
Oh, 10 days in town. I don't think you'd go for that kind of a deal, would you?
I might. But I see what you mean.
Good night, Miss Palmer, honey.
Did you really fly with Alan?
Hey, what kind of a question is that?
An honest one. I hope you'll give me an honest answer. You seem so terribly concerned about what happened to Alan. Yet you never talk about him as though you really knew him.
Well, maybe there's a reason, Kate. Maybe, I'm afraid if I did, I'd be talking about him in the past tense.
What makes you say that?
Oh, I don't know. Just a peculiar feeling I've had about Jane. Now, look, let's get squared away on her first. And then I'll talk about myself till you cry uncle. You know, I'm one of my favorite topics.
All right, Don. Good night.
Oh, wait. There's just one other thing. There's something going on here, Kathy, and it's not very pretty. Now, don't ask me what it is or why I think so, but bear with me, Kate, will you?
I have to trust someone, Don. I'd like it to be you. Good night, Don.
Good night, Kathy.
Who is it?
You really want me to answer that? Right out here in front of...
You're drunk.
It takes one to spot one.
Did you get it?
The best, Duchess. Nothing but the best for you, Duchess. I say let's kill these people in style. There's enough there to kill most of the people you don't like. Now, let me hold that little bottle while you go fix me a drink.
You've had enough to drink. Get out of here and get yourself sober. I don't like you this way.
You know what the man said who sold me this? He said I didn't look like the type of guy he was used to dealing with. I looked him right in the eye. And I said, you mean I don't look like a killer, huh? You know what he said? He said, no, you don't. I wonder what he would have said if you'd bought the stuff, Tiger.
was going to ask you out to dinner.
I didn't.
Well, then why do you look so nice?
Well, thank you, sir, but I just got home from work. I look a fright, and you know it.
Oh, sure you do. I know just the best place for us. All the best frights go there.
And I was going to settle for a glass of milk.
Oh, no. It'll keep. You go ahead. I'll put it in the refrigerator.
Don, after dinner, I'd like you to take me down to Union Station.
Kind of sudden, isn't it? Plan to be gone long?
I found this yesterday. It was hidden in the drawer where Alan keeps his gun.
What do you mean, after dinner? Maybe this is the answer.
Oh, I was just about to knock.
What did you want, Jane?
As a matter of fact, I wanted to get hold of you, Mr. Blake. There's someone in my apartment I'd like you to meet. A man named Sharber.
Well, maybe some other time, Mrs. Palmer.
There won't be another time. I'm leaving tomorrow, perhaps sooner.
Jane, did you hear from Alan?
No. They brought the car back today. I found a note in it from Alan. He's somewhere in Mexico, and I intend to find him.
May I see it? What did he say?
It was rather personal, Kathy. He asked me to forgive him. Told me I could do whatever I wanted with his things.
That's all?
That's all. Won't you come, Mr. Blake? It's only for a minute.
All right.
You two don't seem to know each other.
Should we?
Mr. Sharber, this is Don Blake. He was stationed with you and Alan at Ipswich. He says.
I say that to all the girls. Let's go, Kate.
You never flew at Ipswich, Jack. What are you trying to pull?
Not a thing, Mac. I'm leaving, Kathy. I'd like to have you come along with me.
No. And I'd like what I gave you a minute ago.
Well, let's talk about it outside.
I've already kept you too long, Mr. Sharber. I've found out what I wanted to know.
You sure you're all right?
Quite all right. Good night, Mr. Sharber.
Good night.
Thank you. And now I'll take that ticket, please. The ticket belongs to me, Mr. Blake. If I have to shoot you to get it, I'll be quite within my rights.
I'm afraid you won't be. You can have the ticket. All you have to do is reach into my pocket and take it.
Turn around.
Get me the Hollywood police, quick, it's an emergency. Hello, I'm calling from the Chateau Michel. You've got to send someone up here quickly. 514, hurry. Catherine Palmer, hurry. Dr. Adams, Catherine Palmer, could you come up to 514 right away? Hollywood Police, emergency. This is Catherine Palmer again. You've got to send a patrol car to Union Station. A woman will try to claim something there.
The Union Pacific, City of Los Angeles, train 103 is now arriving.
Hello.
Hello.
You by yourself?
Not anymore, if I can help it. How'd you like to...
How'd you like to do a lady a big favor and earn $5?
What kind of a favor?
My ex-boyfriend's over there waiting for me to claim my bag. If you get it for me, I can avoid him. If you like, I'll let you spend the $5 on me.
Well, what are we waiting for? I'll take my fin now, lady.
What?
My $5.
All right.
How long have I been out?
You took quite a jolt.
Kathy, did you send the police down to the Union Station?
I tried to. They wouldn't go. They said they couldn't hold anyone unless there was a crime committed.
Oh, isn't cracking skulls a crime?
Don't look at me. I just drive a patrol car. You want to file charges against somebody?
Can you get an address from a license number this time of night?
Sure we can.
You got a homicide man at the Hollywood station?
They didn't kill you. You'll live.
Come on, let's go.
Am I coming? I seem to recall we had a date for dinner.
We did, but I guess you'll have to settle for that milk after all, Kathy.
Could I have 2 minutes before you go?
We can cover it in 10 seconds. You were right, Kathy. I don't know your brother from Adam. I could expand on that, but I think Janie still has some unfinished business.
Thanks, Doc.
I found the ticket, Danny. I found it. It's all clear sailing now.
No way. Creep back out.
Lock the door, Danny. Pull the blinds. What's the matter?
I'm worried. I don't get it.
The money's in that bag, Danny. We're leaving for Mexico with it.
Like I say, I don't get it. Why we?
I need you. A woman traveling alone would attract too much attention. And I've got to know about that money. Where it came from.
That's better. Don't ever change, Tiger. I don't think I'd like you with a heart.
Open the bag, Danny. It's all ours.
Let's have a drink.
In a minute, Danny. But first of all, I've got to know where the money came from and if we can use it safely.
There should be 60 grand in there, Tiger. 60 grand. I gotta have a drink.
Wait, Danny. Somebody threw that money into our car. Why?
Because you don't go into a guy's office in a blackmail payoff suite. Besides, he didn't know what I looked like, and I wanted to keep it that way.
But who is it and why did
Never mind who it is, Tiger. But it's the kind of a thing you come across only once in a lifetime. I stumbled onto a rat. A big man in town. 3 floors of mahogany in the Monarch building. Big insurance agent. Sells policies on bridges and aqueducts and stuff. Who ever heard of anything happening to a bridge? So the policies never went back to New York. They're just pieces of paper my benefactor's been collecting premiums on for years. I cut me a slice of last year's premiums. That's it.
Then the money isn't marked. We can spend it.
You said it, Tiger. Now, let's have that drink.
Wait, Danny. We'll make it a toast. I'll get some glasses.
They're right there on the sink. Here's to crime. It pays. And pays.
Found this in his pocket. Take a sniff. The whiskey bottle wasn't spiked. He took it like a good boy, right in his glass.
Go out and call the lab crew in the meat wagon. Tell them it's a suicide.
It's no suicide. Your friend, Mrs. Palmer, arranged this little tableau.
Any idea why?
Yeah. He helped her kill her husband.
If you've got something to tell me, let's have it.
I think you'll find her husband at the bottom of the lake at Westlake Park.
You don't say. You know, I'm only a cop. When I checked the lake, I found they went there the night he disappeared. And they also left it together.
Oh, now look. When they left the boat, Palmer was in a great big hurry. He left the paying to his wife and dashed up the steps. And now I think I know why. Palmer never got off that boat. This guy did. Then he drove Palmer's car to San Diego.
I could point out a dozen things wrong with that, but why bother? If you're right, the body will come up in a day or two.
Oh, no. I'm afraid you'll have to drag the lake. Jane's a pretty smart girl. If she put him there, she put him there to stay.
Anyone besides you ever see them together?
Look, what's the trouble? Don't you want to lick this thing?
Do you know what it would cost the department to close that lake and drag it? We'd have to get an okay from the police commission and the Bureau of Budget and Efficiency. And if the lake management raised enough of a hassle, we might even have to go to the city council.
Hey, Chief, come here a minute.
What's the idea? I haven't done it.
All right, all right.
She starts up the walk and notices the door's open. Then she sees our car and decides to go away. I was just trying to ask her a polite question.
Polite, he says. How does he act when he's being crude?
Are you a friend of Fuller's?
Friend of whose?
Come on inside.
What happened?
Did you ever see this before?
Was it with that?
You know anyone who would want to kill him?
Killed himself. Oh, God have mercy on him.
What makes you think he did it himself? You got any reason?
He had a big deal on. 50 or 60 grand, he said. But something went wrong. I was with him when he got that stuff. He didn't think I knew what he was getting, but I did. Oh, I want to go home.
Parker, take her home, get her name, and find out where Fuller got that poison.
Right.
And as for you, brother, I'm going to let you off with a little friendly advice. Don't ever try to involve the department in your private quarrels. If you get any facts, bring them around. But until you do, Palmer's a missing person and this guy killed himself. Now get going.
Palmer's a corpse. How much would it cost me to have the leg dragged and prove it to you?
What did the lady do to you, Blake, besides sap you down? It must have been something big. Sure, son, you can drag the leg. The guy did it about 4 years ago looking for his wife. When he'd got through it cost him $4,000. The park officials were suing him, and his wife turned up in Modesto with a truck driver.
Having trouble?
I'll fix now, thanks. Had a flat.
Sure can't help any.
No, thanks very much.
It's a bad place to get stuck. Blowout, huh?
Yes.
This small fortune belong to you, ma'am?
Yes, it must have dropped from my bag.
Suppose there's any more where that came from? All that money, lady, you ought to have some mail protection. Anything wrong, miss?
No, I had a flat, but everything's all right now.
After dinner?
We'll go to the fronton for the highlight game.
I'm sorry, Carlos. No. I'm rather tired.
Of course.
Mañana.
Mañana.
Well, nice place you have here, Mrs. Palmer. Oh, excuse me. It's Miss Petrie now, isn't it?
That happens to be my maiden name. I filed suit for divorce.
That's a nice touch. But widows don't need divorces, do they?
I wasn't aware that I was a widow.
Doesn't matter. I really came here to talk about money. I'd like, say, half of what you brought down with you.
That would be about $200, Mr. What was your name?
It was Blake when you knew me. You brought down about 60 grand, according to Danny's girlfriend.
I don't know any Danny, and I haven't got any money. I think you'd better leave. I swear I'll scream to wake the dead if you don't get out of here.
Oh, it's too bad you can't wake the dead, Jane. It might save you. You see, I found your husband's body.
I told the Los Angeles police where I am. If there was any news of Alan, I would have been notified.
Not about this, you wouldn't. You see, I let him drop back in.
Drop back? Where?
Where you put him. The lake. Looking for something?
My lipstick.
Colt or Smith & Wesson?
Now, what's this about lakes?
Just one lake. And if we can't make a deal, I'm going back and drag him up again.
How much do you want?
I told you. Half.
It's in the hotel safe. I'd have to go get it.
Go ahead.
Aren't you afraid I might not come back?
You'll come back.
How do I know you won't take it all?
Well, that'll make me a cad, Jane. I couldn't do that. Get the money. I'll be satisfied with half. It's a nice cool look, hasn't it, Jane? It tempts me. But this'll cover it.
What do you mean by that?
I'm giving you a strict accounting of your funds, Mrs. Palmer. I had to know for sure if your husband was really in that lake. This is a price for having the lake dragged.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to tell you, Jane, you're all washed up.
You can't take my money and... You're not.
The law? No. No, just someone who couldn't let you get away with it, Jane. A killjoy.
Here it is. You want it, don't you? It's yours. All you have to do is take it.
You can't see it, Mrs. Palmer, but I'm riding a big white horse. This is a vendetta. But it's over now. Please page Teniente Rivera. He's in the lobby. Rivera, I'm in her apartment. She has the money here, all of it. Yes. Right away. You'll have to forgive me, Jane, but I made formal charges that you stole that money from me. Now, you can sue me later for false arrest, but I had to figure some way of keeping you in town till the L.A. police get here.
Why, Mr. Blake? Tell me why.
Not Blake, Blanchard. Does it mean anything to you?
I once married a man named Blanchard.
Yes, my brother. I was overseas when it happened, but I never really believed Bob killed himself. You killed him.
I swear I didn't kill him. He found out I didn't love him and he killed himself. I swear it. I swear I didn't kill him.
There are many ways of killing a man, Jane. And now that I know you, I can believe Bob probably did kill himself. But then there's Alan Palmer. And your friend Danny. You're all through killing now, Jane.
Wait, he's lying. The money's mine.
Please, señorita. We wish no trouble. You'll come with us, eh?
No, I tell you he's lying.
Someone get a doctor. We'll need for a doctor. She's there.
How did it happen?
What's she talking about?
Vamos, muchachos.
Well, it was a short honeymoon, Kathy. We're going home now.
Jane.
Yeah.